Alright, bro. You always say to yourself that your body is not responding. Your body is a non-responding machine when it comes to fat loss. And I hear this all the time as well. And people do usually say this a lot during their cuts. They like to tell themselves, oh, my body is not responding. Why is my body not responding? Is it because of this? Is it because my testosterone's low? Is it, is it just because my body just doesn't react? It doesn't want to react? No, that's not the case. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to diagnose why your body is not responding to fat loss. Firstly, is because your cortisol is very high. High cortisol levels can have an impact with your fat loss. It can, because it's the hormone that's respondent. The cortisol is the hormone that's respondent for you to keep the fat off. But hence, if your cortisol is very, very high all the time, then your body's not going to be responding to fat loss, because cortisol, like I said, the cortisol is the hormone respondent for you to keep its fat off. It tells your body, no, we're not dropping body fat. Simply not dropping body fat. The cortisol may be high for several reasons. One, because of your poor sleep, which is the second reason why your body's not responding to body fat. Because when you have less sleep, your cortisol rises. Hence, when you wake up and you weigh yourself, you get a massive fluctuation. Why? Because your cortisol levels are going to be very high. Hence, your body is going to hold on to more water, and hence when you weigh yourself, you're going to get a massive fluctuation. Now, this is me telling you to, not have perfect sleep or to have a very, very perfect sleep. No, I'm not saying that. If you're like 1 or 2 days off of having poor sleep, like myself, if you've seen it in my series where, I had some days where I had quite poor sleep. But obviously, these things happen due to factors, such as, the hot weather. Like if you've seen in my series and if you're someone that lives in the UK, you know how hot it is outside. And you can't just be me as well. Like, when it's very hot, you just can't, you struggle to fall asleep. This was literally me, and hence why I had very poor sleep. But we still showed up, But yeah, if most of the time you do sleep well, you get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep, then you'll be fine, guys. But yeah, that's the second reason. It's the poor sleep and the high. First two reasons, cortisol is very high, and you lack sleep. Now the third reason why your body is not responding to body fat is simply because of your stressful lifestyle. Stress from the family, stress from work, stress from your whatever you do in your day-to-day life, stress from your A-levels, stress from your studies, stress from, like I said, from work as well. Because stress is responsible for you holding on to body fat. And you even not only you'll struggle to build muscle, not only you'll struggle to lose fat, you will also struggle to build muscle because your stress levels are very high. But the good thing is we can easily tackle this. And the way to tackle this is to meditation, simply meditation, where you're going to just sit for 2 minutes, breathe in heavily for around 4 seconds, breathe in heavily, and then obviously take like a little 2-second pause, and then breathe out slowly. And you're going to do that for 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, whatever. But I'd say if you're new into meditation, then start with 2 minutes first, and then work your way up to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Or, or if you want, you can just stick to doing 2 minutes, because 2 minutes is pretty much enough. So yeah, stressful lifestyle is the third reason. And that's why it holds most people back, because of their stress levels. And they don't do anything about it to manage their stress. So it's very important to manage stress levels. And another way to manage also stress levels is to take a magnesium supplement. Take some magnesium, because magnesium helps to calm down, your stress. But yeah, that's the third reason. Now the fourth reason why you're probably struggling to lose fat and your body's not responding to losing fat is simply because too much excessive alcohol. Alcohol is, I'm not going to go too much in detail about this, because we all know how bad alcohol is for our body, for our brain, for fat loss as well. Because alcohol has a negative impact for your sleep quality. Yes, you still might be able to sleep, but it will reduce your sleep quality. And when it comes to fat loss, sleep duration is not the only thing you're supposed to look at when it comes to losing fat. It's also about your sleep quality. If your sleep quality is poor, then you're going to be struggling to lose fat. So yeah, limit the alcohol intake, or if you can, get rid of alcohol from your life, especially if your goal is to get to 10%. Now, I'm the type of person I've never drink alcohol because I've never ever got into these, alcohol bullshit stuff. But yeah, that's the fourth reason. Now, the fifth reason is you're cutting calories too low. You're cutting your calories too low to the point where it puts your metabolism into the bin. It ruins your metabolism and it's very unsustainable. And you just won't, and you're just more likely going to be yo-yo dieting if you do it that way, because you're putting yourself at the risk of, trying to control your hunger so much to the point where your calories are very low. Of course you will. Of course you're going to start to fall hungry a lot if you cut your calories too low. So if you want to drop body fat effectively without you cutting your calories too low, the way to do it is to drop just below maintenance and then increase the deficit further by doing low up, starting it off low with 10k steps and 20 minutes of any form of cardio that you enjoy, as long as it's moderate and non-impact. Which comes along to the sixth reason is you do too much cardio. And what do I mean by this? When I say too much cardio, I mean you're doing too much high intensity cardio specifically. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because high intensity cardio can have an impact on your recovery. It can also raise your cortisol levels. It can, it won't really affect you. It affects your gym performance a lot because of how badly it affects your recovery. But instead of doing too much of high intensity cardio, do anywhere between 10 to 15k steps, depending on which stage you're on the fat loss phase. Like for example, me right now, I'm doing 15k steps and 40 minutes of Stairmaster or incline treadmill, since I'm on my cut right now, obviously, as you guys know. And yeah, don't be doing too much excessive cardio. Don't be doing 60 minutes of cardio because that can really raise your cortisol levels as well. I'd say stick up to max 40 to 50 minutes of cardio, and then obviously when you increase your deficit further, drop from the food from there. Don't look at raising your cardio even more to 60 minutes because it will have an impact on your, you may be experiencing soreness, you might be experiencing, especially around your like quads or hamstrings, and just in general, it could still affect your recovery as well. Now, you can do 60 minutes if you want, but I would recommend going straight up to 50, doing 50 minutes of incline treadmill max as a moderate cardio, in a moderate pace of heart rate 120 to 130, instead of you doing 50 minutes of high intensity cardio, because firstly, doing it at a moderate pace, especially with the incline treadmill, with the Stairmaster, with any other non-impact cardio machines, then it won't have an impact with your recovery, especially steps as well. So yeah, that's the sixth reason. Now the seventh reason is, and this is what has held me back as well, is simply because of erratic dieting. Now, what do I mean by erratic dieting? This is basically where, you do like an extreme diet for like the first few days, but then you binge the next day after that, and then the day after that you just binge. And same as like you cut your calories too low for the first 4 days, but then for the first 5 days, Monday to Friday, but then you binge on the weekends, and then hence you're over your calorie goal for that week. So stop trying these carnivore diets, these animal-based diets, and trying to have a fluctuation of calories. You want to simply create yourself the meal plan where you hit your deficit, hit your calorie goal consistently over consecutive days, to then consecutive weeks, to then consecutive months. That way, it's more sustainable, and that way you won't have to avoid erratic dieting, to avoid, doing these animal-based diets, think that's going to help you drop body fat effectively. Instead, keep your carbs as high as possible with minimizing fats, and then obviously hit your protein 1 gram per pound of body weight, which we all know, which is common sense. And obviously keep your fiber high as well, because fiber is what helps to keep you fuller for longer. And yeah, so these 7 reasons. And the bad thing is that if you combine all of these 7 reasons together, you're gonna have a very, very hard life. But the good thing is you can easily tackle all of these. But the way to tackle these is you need to simply do more with less effort. And what do I mean by this? So you need to simply have a structure, because if you have a structured routine, this will allow you to sleep. This will allow you to wake up and then sleep at the same rough time, because obviously you create yourself that structure, meaning you create which includes obviously your sleep routine, and you're gonna have a structured meal plan where like you're gonna be eating roughly at this time, third meal at this time. This will help to manage your hunger, and you're gonna simply create yourself the meal plan. Like I said, create yourself a meal plan of eating the same foods daily, and obviously you can make minor adjustments from swapping potatoes with sweet potatoes. And yes, it might be boring, but the more boring it is, the better. And it just makes fat loss easier if you do it that way, and makes tracking your calories. You can track your calories effortlessly if you do it that way. So you simply want to do more, but in a smarter approach. Obviously, don't go on your phone first thing in the morning, and then you don't go on your phone for the last hour before you go to sleep, because that's going to help you, lower cortisol levels. See how I say you need to do more with less effort. Simply having a routine and having a structured meal plan will help you to not even you won't even feel like having alcohol if you do that. And then obviously to avoid doing too much cardio, having too much cortisol levels, cutting your calories too low. Instead of cutting your calories too low and then raising the cardio too much as your initial setup to be in a calorie deficit, you wanna drop just below maintenance, so around 100 to 300 just below maintenance, and then obviously you're gonna increase the deficit further by starting your output low with 10k steps and then 20 minutes of cardio daily. That's the way to set up your calories. So you simply need to you can easily fix these 7 reasons by doing more with less effort, and based on everything that I said, because what I've just said is a simple, smarter approach by you doing it less and doing a smarter approach, because I promise you, slow and steady wins the race. But yeah, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions, then drop it down within the comments. If not, then the fact that you watched this video is good enough for me. I'll see you on the next video.